Welcome to the College Football Bros. I'm Michael Newman.
And I'm Ryan Newman.
All right, today we are on to question 5 in our 2021 college football preview season. For the next couple months, we're going to have one episode every single day, including weekends, answering a different question about the 2021 season. Ryan, what's our question for today?
Today's question is, who are the top 5 Heisman candidates from the group of 5?
Okay, so obviously it's pretty unlikely that any of these guys will win the Heisman Trophy just based on history, but one or two of them could definitely end up in the top 10. And either way, regardless of Heisman voting, these are names that you'll want to know for the upcoming season. So who was number 5?
Well, we had a tie. We had a tie between two folks. I'll lead off with the first tie, and I'll give you the other guy. But Lane Hatcher is the first one, tied for 5th from Arkansas State. As far as Arkansas State overall, I actually think they might surprise some folks this year under new coach Butch Jones. He's making his reappearance back here. And, Lane Hatcher is the main reason why I think Arkansas State could have a pretty darn good year. Obviously Butch Jones is coming in, you think a new system, but Butch Jones is keeping the same offensive coordinator there, so that might help with the consistency a little bit there, so there might not be as many growing pains. And Lane Hatcher's just been fantastic. His first 2 years, freshman and sophomore years, he's been awesome. He split time with Logan Bonner for his first 2 years, but Logan Bonner transferred. He went with Blake Anderson, to Utah State. So he kind
Blake
of
Smith, one of our frequent commenters on YouTube.
I think that's what it came.
Shout out to Blake
Smith's
Smith.
comments. Yeah.
Hey, if you comment on our YouTube episodes, we might accidentally say your name in an episode.
That was unintended, but it worked out. Anyways, his stats have been amazing. 19 touchdowns, just 2 picks last year, over 10 yards per attempt. Like, he has been awesome when he's been the guy. I think he was clearly the better quarterback of those two. They got some, the reason why I say he may be, also a Heisman candidate, you got to look at situations. He's got a tougher schedule. So you got Memphis, Washington, Tulsa in the non-conference, pretty solid team. And then in their conference, they got Louisiana Coastal and App State all on the schedule. So there's like big marquee games where if he shows out and, if they put together a magical run, it's conceivable that he could put himself in as far as like the top G5 candidate.
Did you say Arkansas State has Washington on the schedule?
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Also tied for 5th was Dustin Crum of Kent State.
Yep.
And, the last 2 seasons, he's had 32 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, almost 9 yards per pass attempt. He's also very good on the ground, so he can do it all. The schedule, again, this could either be his downfall or it could be his opportunity.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing.
They have.
You got to have the chance.
Right. They have at A&M, which is just brutal, and they have at Iowa. So those are 2 very, very good defenses. They are going to be way outmatched there. But if Crum can somehow pull off a miracle in one of those games, then maybe he'll get his name out there.
Yep, that's certainly possible. Yeah, I mean, he's been awesome. He's super fun. It's just tough for a MAC team. They just kind of seem like the bottom of the conferences, so.
Yeah.
All right, moving on here to number 4. We got Carson Strong from Nevada. He had an awesome sophomore year last year. He completed 70% of his passes, 27 touchdowns to just 4 picks. And going into this year, everybody's coming back offensively. He and Romeo Doubs are one of the best duos, QB wide receiver duos, really in the nation. And Carson Strong, I think what's kind of might help his quote-unquote Heisman candidacy is the fact that he's being looked at as a high NFL draft pick. So maybe he'll get a little more attention nationally than some of the other guys he might be battling it out with in the G5. So, if you look at their schedule, it's not that hard. So that could, like you said, it could help and hurt. They might have the marquee ones. They play Cal and K-State in the non-conference. Neither of them, they're decent teams, but they're not a high marquee level. So, but if they end up winning all those games and have a magical year where they win 10, 11 games, maybe he's flirts with the top 10 finish in the Heisman. So he's just going to put up a huge statistics this year, though, because great team, great QB. It's set up pretty well for him.
Yeah. I think this we maybe should have just done a top 4 list here, because I think it took kind of a big jump forward there at number 4.
I agree.
Number 3, we have Grayson McCall from Coastal Carolina. And as a freshman last year, was one of the most efficient passers in the country, also a really good runner in that option-style offense. And Coastal returns almost everyone from last year's, I think, 11-1 team. So he'll, he's going to put up big numbers in all likelihood. I think what could give him an issue is easy schedule. I mean, easy. You brought up the Nevada playing Cal and K-State. I mean, those are obviously solid teams, but
decent. Yeah,
Coastal does not have that.
No,
they have
nothing.
Kansas and
Buffalo
really
and UMass. Just bad.
Nothing good. So so that will help him in terms of numbers, but hurt him in terms of getting the eyes of the voters.
The only benefit is he's already got the eyes. They'll start the season as a top 25-ish team, so eyes will already be on him. So it's not like people will be late to the party on Grayson McCall. So
that's true.
All right, let's move on to number 2. We got Dillon Gabriel, the lefty from down in at UCF. First 2 years have been fantastic. 61 touchdowns to 11 picks the last couple years, 9 yards per attempt. So he's been awesome, led the team to a lot of wins. Last year, dealt a little bit of a tough hand with some of those sit-outs that they had, especially on defense. So this year, it's a new system. You got a little bit Gus Malzahn coming in, taking over. So that's a little bit of a concern. Not quite sure, what it'll be like. Gus Malzahn's offenses at Auburn slowed down a bit, but you would think his numbers will still be amazing. You got great talent. Gus Malzahn probably just didn't have this, I don't know, maybe the talent to work with or whatever it was, but there's really no excuses not to have a good offense. And UCF, they got some opportunities to have a good, marquee games. They open up the season against Boise State on a Thursday night, so all eyes are on him right there. If he has a big game, that one leads him to a win, all of a sudden he might be throwing his hat into the ring for real. So he'll have the opportunity for sure. In the American, they got some good teams, so that's it's the top probably non-Power 5 conference.
Yeah, I thought it was close between 1 and 2 here. I actually had on my personal list, I had Gabriel number 1 just because I think the upside in terms of statistics that he can put up throwing the ball is a bit higher than our number 1 here. But I still think a worthy number 1, Desmond Ritter of Cincinnati. And the main reason, of course, that he's at the top of the list is that he's playing on the best G5 team that's going to be getting a lot of hype coming into the year. Cincinnati plays on the big stage at Indiana and at Notre Dame, so everyone's going to be watching those games, especially if they keep winning. So he's going to have opportunities there. If he has any hope of winning the Heisman, I think he's going to need more explosive plays in the passing game, more yards, more touchdowns. But obviously the running ability helps him. He had, I think, 12 rushing touchdowns last year. So
yeah, it was like more than combined the previous 2 years he had. So
yeah,
he stepped up.
Might need to do that again. But
and of course, go undefeated.
Yeah, well, yeah, they've got to go undefeated. Yeah, they've got to go undefeated. And even all these things happen, he's still probably not going to win the Heisman because he's not, like we say, he's not necessarily just putting up these massive numbers.
It's not Spencer Rattler of OU.
No.
He's not putting up insane numbers. He's good, and he's going to put up solid numbers, but that's just not the way they're designed.
Right. But if they do go undefeated, the voters are going to want to reward someone, and that would likely be Desmond Ritter.
Yep. I am in agreement there.
Okay. So we've got our overall list here of 5, I guess technically 6 because we had a tie at 5th, but who's some of your honorable mentions?
It was tough because, once you said what you said earlier, the top 4 I thought was pretty clear. After that, it got a little. Not that they're better QBs after that. It's not like a drop off as far as quality. It's more as far as a potential for actually going to win the Heisman. I think there's a difference between those two statements there. So, but honorable mentions, I think we got to mention Levi Lewis from Louisiana. He's been there for a few years now, played really well. And of course, if they go undefeated or have a really magical year, he'll get the pub, kind of like the Desmond Ritter, but just not quite at that level.
Yeah, the numbers, you'd have to take a huge jump.
Last year, a little step back as far as numbers. The year before was decent, but it's got to be his best year yet, no doubt about it. So I'll let you throw another name out here, but Levi Lewis was one for me.
Okay, well, if we're talking numbers, I had the first non-quarterback we've mentioned, Sincere McCormick, running back for UTSA, because he was, I believe, second in the nation in rushing yards last year. I know not a lot of teams played a ton of games, but still, he's had a monster year, and UTSA brings just about everybody back. So if he goes for like 2,000 yards and UTSA wins Conference USA, then, maybe he'll get a few votes.
Yeah, that's a good one. One more I'll throw out is Nick Starkel from San Jose. I obviously led them to a pretty darn good season last year, winning the Mountain West, going undefeated in the Mountain West. And it was all because of the passing game. So, if they have another magical run, maybe Starkel's name gets a little more notoriety in the Heisman candidacy, but it's a big if. But
yeah. All right, well, I'm going to throw out another one. We just keep going back and forth. I got one more. Why not? Right. Caleb Ellaby, Western Michigan. He was third in the nation in pass efficiency last year. It was, of course, a MAC-only season, but
limited sample. But
if he can continue that this year, then who knows? How about this guy? How about this guy?
I'm going to stop it. I'm going to stop.
Okay, we're done.
I was thinking Clayton Tune.
You just did. You did it.
It's hard to stop, man. There's some good QBs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jerome Ford, running back for Cincinnati. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the College Football Bros. Tomorrow, we're going to be ranking the top 5, actually not top 5, top 8 G5 head coaching candidates for future Power 5 jobs. So we will talk to you then.
And by the way, this one we didn't include. It's only G5, right? So the Malik Willis's, they're an independent. Otherwise, he'd be, whatever, 1 or 2 on this list. So just want to get that out there.
All right. Thanks for that clarification. See you tomorrow, everyone.
You've been watching the College Football Bros. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube and in your podcast app for college football content all year round. For bonus episodes and access to our Discord chat, join our Patreon at patreon.com/collegefootballbros. Thanks for watching.